And then it's the opposite, the restlessness. In meditation, it's what we call monkey mind. And the monkey mind is when the mind goes like jumping from tree to tree, you know, it's just like all over the place. And obviously in meditation, when we talk about the monkey mind, what is happening, then it's all, the recommendation is always mindfulness of breathing. So you get into your breathing and you have a focus on your breathing, and then your mind is focused on that. You can also count your exhales or count your inhales. So say a mantra that you repeat over and over, so the mind have something to focus on. That is how we use the knowledge of the hindrance in meditation. In life, then restlessness is an agitation of mind, and restlessness feeds restlessness. It's what I said earlier, that I've heard so many people ask me the question, oh, my mind, I feel so restless, my mind's all over the place, what can I do? So it's like, I'm doing all this, what can I do more to solve the issue of me doing too much? You know, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre, but it is how it is. Restlessness feeds restlessness. And I think one of the problems that we have in our culture is obviously that we, in our culture, we are, how can I say it? It's action is in very high regard. Doing is in very high regard. You know, setting a goal and going for it, and not taking anyone into account, and just, you know, just do it. It's in such a high regard in our society. And the problem is that it's keeping us in a huge distance to us, to an awareness and an awakeness in the moment, because we're constantly diverting our mind into something else, into something outside of us. When you feel restless, instead of diverting your mind even further, then my take on it is to focus on contentment. Again, what are you content with right now? When you feel the restlessness and you have the monkey mind in meditation or in your life in general, what can you focus on in your life right now that is exactly as it should be? It could be the next breath is exactly like it should be. The smell of this flower is exactly like it should be. The texture of your hand, if you caress your hand, it's exactly like it should be. So what do you have in your life right now? What about you can you bring focus on right now that is exactly like it should be? Where can you find contentment in what is right now? Another part of the restlessness, it's to remember it's about remorse. And restlessness is an agitation of the mind, and remorse, it's also an agitation of the mind. It's the cruelest form of ego being. That's remorse. It's you take something that happened in the past, and then you ruminate about how you should have done differently, how things should have been differently. And you can't change it because life has happened, you know, life has moved on. You're not there anymore. So keep taking something that happened in the past and pulling it into the future and ruminating about how it should have been different. The only thing you're doing is just feeding the restlessness of your mind, the agitation of your mind, instead of really understanding that memories, whatever you remember happened, whatever you think happened in your past, then there was something happening. You had an experience. You had some assumptions about the experience, about what happened, and that created a specific take on the experience that you had. And that gave an outcome that you then had repeated as a truth in your mind. And over time, that has manifested itself. And that is what we call a memory. So whatever happened in the past, if you did something super unskillful that you really, really regret, you wish you hadn't done it, well, you didn't, you did it, you know, you did it. The only thing that is keeping you in the suffering is you keeping ruminating and thinking about it, having the agitation and the restlessness of the mind about it. So the delusion of your past, of whatever you did that wasn't skillful, the delusion of it is happening on a lot of different levels. And that's why it's becoming such a profound truth in us. And the problem with it is that we, as soon as we start to have feelings about something, when we keep cultivating them, they become emotions. And when something becomes an emotion, then we start to have the neurochemical pattern with it as well. That means that we are releasing neurochemicals, hormones, and we are releasing biochemicals, which are shaping our personality, which means that all on your own accord, you have created an issue and in your life that has now become your personality. And it's something which you have done all on your own. You know, you could have done it on a desert island. Nobody else needed to be present because you have that restlessness of your mind. The mantra which you can say is, with stillness, simplicity, and contentment, I purify my mind. So it's we're back to finding contentment in your life.